Good morning, warriors. Fernando here, God's Prepared Warrior, and welcome to Thursday. This is the Thursday edition of this week, and you know it. I'm on my motorcycle, so I'm having to do outside videos, and so hopefully it's a bit windy today. Hopefully it's not too bad. Today I want to talk about when troops move. It's time to pay attention, right? So if you follow my channel, you know that what I say is stay vigilant, stay prepared. And so by being vigilant, we know kind of sometimes, depending on situation, we kind of have an inkling or a hint, or we understand that something is going to happen. What I mean by that is, the weather is cloudy outside like it is right now. It just might rain, right? Staying vigilant and being prepared, right? So we've been talking about this whole Iran situation here recently on the channel. And so right now this isn't speculation. This is like real movement on the ground, right? If you've been paying attention, the U.S. is deploying thousands of Marines and airborne troops to the Middle East. Units like the 31st Marine Unit and the 82nd Airborne are being positioned for rapid response. Now, this includes ground capable forces, meaning the ability to just move beyond airstrikes if needed, right? What does that mean? Fernando, you're talking in a language I don't understand, and it's okay. What that means is this is not just defense. This is positioning for expanded operations, right? If escalation continues. So this is what I probably would call, like a buffer zone, right? So what this actually means, and even more plain, simple understanding, is that when troops deploy, and we see it like this, it signals three things, right? Number one, the situation is serious and it is fluid, right? And then, this level of movement means leadership expects things could change really quickly, right? The second is, operations are being prepared, not just used, right? They're being readied to be used, right? Troops aren't always sent to fight immediately. They are sent to secure key locations. They're sent to respond to sudden escalation. They're sent to protect, shipping routes, like what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, right? They want them to be ready, if a ground operation becomes necessary, right? And also, we are entering a higher risk phase here. If you think about it, even if diplomacy is still happening, this kind of buildup means, there's risk of escalation, and it's increasing, right? It's not decreasing, it's increasing. So it's very important for us to really pay attention to what's happening. A long time ago, we were never aware of what was happening in a major war, just what came across the wire, right? Back in the day, right? When you look at past wars. And so today it's just right in front of us, right? Because of social media and things like that. So it's important for us to really stay vigilant to what is happening. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for me at our home, right? This is where most people miss it, right? You don't prepare for war overseas. You prepare for the effects, the ripple effects that come here because of what is happening over there. So if you follow my channel long enough, you'll have heard me say what happens over there eventually comes over here, right? We're talking about those ripple effects to what is happening, and so we're going to see that, right? So when it comes to practical preparedness, this is what we do today, right? We expect pressure on fuel and supply chains. We are already seeing fuel prices go higher, and you have already heard me say, don't just stare at the pump, right? You have to look at other things, because this whole situation is going to touch a whole lot more things than we can just see, right? Because of the thing that's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, shipping is going to be stopped, right? So all that oil that everybody uses is going to either be delayed or it is not going to come. And so we're going to see these fluctuations in the fuel, and then because of shipping, we might not get the things that we buy from other places because of that. So we're gonna need to expect that there's going to be pressure on these systems, and it's important for us to be ready. It's important for us to build up, right? Military buildup equals strain on global systems. So if you can't see it already, you need to really pay attention, right? I think we need to start asking, do I have extra fuel stored safely? I think we need to ask, am I relying on just in time groceries, right? Just what I go get for the week, right? Or am I creating a stockpile, right? I think an action step for us is to, top off our tanks, right, this week. Make sure that we have that. And if we're going to store gasoline, make sure you do it safely and away from where flames can get to it, things like that. You don't want to burn your house down because you've been storing gasoline in the wrong way. Make sure you buy a fuel stabilizer to put in there, follow instructions on that, but don't wait. I think we're gonna start to see a tick up even more. I think I looked this morning and gas was $3.49 by the house this morning, where a week or two ago we were paying $2.40. So yeah, it's gone up. The next thing, I think we need to tighten your 2 to 3 week food buffer, right? I think we need to build on that. Especially if the supply chain is going to be affected, we're going to start seeing either price hikes on food or bare spots in the store. So it's important for us to continue to do that. I always encourage all of you to just, when you go to the store, buy 5 extra cans, or buy a bag of rice, a bag of beans, just extra things on top of what you're buying for the week. So that way you build this buffer for your food storage, right? If things escalate, we're going to see those shipping disruptions. We're going to see prices go up, and we're going to see short-term shortages. So just add 3 to 5 extra items, 3 to 5 extra meals, per person this week, and just build on that. The next thing I think we need to do is strengthen our communication plan. It's so important. We rely on these phones a lot, and I use my phone to record all of my videos. So we rely on these things a lot. They're almost like a third arm, and so we need to strengthen our communication plan. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't done that, think about it, pray about it, ask the Lord to lead you to somebody who knows that, right? Hi, I'm here. I have videos on that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to bring that back again, maybe do some more videos on that, because a lot of people still do not have a communication plan. They're still relying on the cell phone, and it's important for us to build a communication plan, because when communications go down, how do you expect to communicate with your family, right? We're living in uncertain times, right? And information gets messy, misinformation spreads fast, and so it's important for us to have a good communication plan, right? We need to pay attention to trusted news sources, right? We should have a family communication plan on what is our next thing to use if the cell phone doesn't work, if it goes down, right? We need to build that communication plan, right? Everyone needs to know how they're going to reach each other if things shift, right? That's important. I think the next thing we should be doing is staying grounded emotionally, right? I actually have begun to move away from drama in life, and I am just focusing everything on the Lord, and I am staying connected to God, and that is the thing that's going to keep me grounded emotionally, right? This is a critical piece that a lot of people fail to do, is stay emotionally grounded, right? Most people react with fear. The Bible tells us that God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. And so if we move ourselves in that direction, we're going to learn that God doesn't even give us that spirit. And so when fear comes on, we can say, nope, I'm going to grab that thought and I'm going to make it obedient to Christ. And I know that he doesn't even give me that spirit, so I don't need that fear in my life, right? But most people react with fear. Most people react with panic and overreaction sometimes, right? But a prepared warrior, I'm always going to say this, a prepared warrior stays calm. A prepared warrior stays aware. A prepared warrior stays intentional, because they are connected to God, right? Matthew 24:42, Jesus says there, he says, therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come, right? Being watchful is not fear. Being watchful is awareness with faith. God didn't call you to panic. He called you to be ready. And so it's time for all of us to start paying attention and to start being ready, on the lookout for when the Lord is coming. So when you see troop movement, right, like we're seeing now, don't ignore it. Don't just, say, oh, well, that's happening, right? And don't even obsess over that. It's a shift for us as God's prepared warriors to go to God in prayer, to ask God for safety for our troops, and that he would guide our leaders in leadership to do the right thing, right? That's how we respond to it. We tighten our readiness, we strengthen our home, and we anchor ourselves in faith. And that is how you stay vigilant and how you stay prepared. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. Have a great Thursday today. It was a beautiful ride in this morning for me. It's nice and cool. There's a little bit of wind, not too bad. But later on, it's supposed to be 90 degrees, so it's going to be hot on my way home. But you guys have a great day. Praying for all of you, and hope to see you on the next video. God bless.